All right, so today we're going to take a deep dive into the world of the Enneagram Type 2.
The giver.
Yeah, the giver or the helper.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you've ever met someone who just radiates warmth and seems to put everyone at ease, you might have encountered a 2 in their natural habitat.
For sure, and we're going to unpack all that today.
Yeah.
But, I always like to remind people, the Enneagram, it's not about labeling people, right?
Right.
It's more like a system for understanding what makes people tick.
Yeah, like a framework
Yeah, exactly.
to kind of see the world through.
Yeah, it's about understanding our core motivations and fears and all that good stuff.
Totally. So with that being said, let's jump into Type 2.
All right, let's do it.
The giver.
So at the heart of the Type 2, you'll find this really powerful desire to feel loved and appreciated.
Okay. I mean, I think we all want that to some degree.
Oh, absolutely. But for 2s, it's like their driving force.
Really?
Yeah, it's so fundamental.
Interesting.
They're the natural nurturers, the ones who are always putting others' needs before their own.
Right, like always going above and beyond for people.
Exactly.
So,
They often express their love through actions rather than words,
so like acts of service are their love language.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, you see that.
Think about like a Type 2 mother.
Okay.
She's going to tirelessly support her children, right? She's going to derive a lot of her sense of worth from their well-being.
Okay, so it's not just about being loved. It's about feeling valuable through that giving.
Exactly. And that's where we start to see the deeper layers of the 2.
Okay, so what's going on beneath the surface then?
Well, this deep desire to feel loved often comes from a place of fear.
Fear.
Yeah, fear of being unloved or unwanted.
Wow, that's heavy.
It is. It can be a really powerful fear for them.
I can imagine.
Imagine feeling like your worth hinges on whether or not people need you.
Yeah, that would be tough.
Right. So they're constantly seeking connection and approval.
It's like they need that reassurance.
They do. They really do.
So I'm hearing you say 2s are these incredibly giving, caring people,
Yes.
but they're also driven by this deep fear of rejection.
Right.
That seems like a recipe for potential problems.
It can be, and that's something we'll definitely unpack further.
All right, I'm intrigued.
But before we go there, let's talk about how to actually spot a 2 in real life,
Okay, yeah, what are some telltale signs?
Well, you'll often see those core traits shining through. Empathy, compassion, generosity.
The warm fuzzies.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
They're often drawn to careers where they can help others directly.
like teachers or social workers or nurses.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
They're great listeners,
Oh, yeah.
always there to offer a shoulder to cry on.
The best friend you could ask for.
Right. They also really shine in team settings,
I could see that.
They're natural collaborators.
Yeah, they bring people together.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we take this basic understanding of the 2 and, add some nuance?
Well, that's where wings and subtypes come in.
This is where it gets really interesting.
Right. So wings basically mean that the types next to your core type on the Enneagram can kind of influence your personality.
Okay, I'm following.
So for a 2, that means they could have a 1 wing or a 3 wing.
And each wing adds a little something extra.
Exactly. So a 2 with a 1 wing is called the servant.
The servant.
Yeah, they're very much focused on duty and doing things the right way.
I can see that.
Picture like a Type 2 who's meticulously organizing a charity event.
Right. They want to help, but they also want it to be perfect.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
No, 2 of the 3 wing is called the host.
The host. Interesting.
Yeah, they're more image conscious and ambitious. They might channel their giving into hosting elaborate gatherings.
So they want to feel appreciated for their efforts.
Right, and for the experience they're creating for others.
Okay. So even within the Type 2, there's a lot of variation.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
Nope.
And then we've got subtypes too, right?
Yeah, we do. And subtypes are all about our instinctual drives.
Okay, break that down for me.
There are 3 subtypes: self-preservation, social, and sexual.
Okay, and each subtype adds another layer of complexity.
They do.
So how does that play out with a Type 2?
Well, let's say you have a self-preservation 2.
Okay.
They might focus their giving on creating a secure, comfortable environment for themselves and their loved ones.
So like the ultimate homemaker.
Yes, exactly.
They want everyone to feel safe and cared for.
Exactly.
Got it.
Now, a social 2 might channel that need to give into a larger group or cause.
Oh, so like they might be super involved in their community.
Yeah, or they might be a passionate advocate for a particular issue.
Okay, so their giving is directed outward.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And then there's the sexual 2.
Okay, what's unique about them?
They express their need for love through very intense one-on-one relationships.
So like they pour all their energy into their partner.
Yes, they're very passionate and devoted.
Wow, it sounds like there's a lot to unpack with each subtype.
Oh, for sure.
This is fascinating.
It is, isn't it? The Enneagram is all about those subtle nuances.
Yeah, I'm starting to see that it's not about putting people in boxes.
Exactly.
It's more about understanding the complexities of human motivation.
Exactly.
I'm really enjoying this deep dive.
Me too.
But before we go any further, I want to hear from you, the listener.
Yeah, what are your initial thoughts?
Are you starting to recognize any of these type 2 patterns in yourself or the people you know? Head over to our website or social media and let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
And if you're ready to take a deep dive into the world of the Enneagram, Personality NFT has some amazing resources, so check them out. So relationships, huh?
Yeah, relationships.
It's interesting how all this type 2 energy plays out when it comes to love and connection and all that.
It's got to be a factor, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, on the one hand, 2s can be the most incredible partners and friends.
Like the best you could ask for.
Yeah, they're so loving and attentive.
It just make you feel special.
Exactly. They go the extra mile to make sure you're happy and cared for.
I mean, it sounds pretty idyllic.
It can be, for sure, but there's always two sides to the coin, right?
Right. There's got to be a catch.
Well, the catch is that 2s can sometimes struggle with their own needs.
What do you mean?
They're so focused on giving to others that they forget to take care of themselves.
Oh, I see.
They can overgive to the point of resentment.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or they can get so entangled in their partner's life that they lose their own sense of identity.
It's like they're giving so much of themselves away.
Exactly.
So how do they find that balance then?
It's all about boundaries.
Boundaries, yeah.
2s need to learn to prioritize their own well-being.
Easier said than done, I imagine.
It definitely takes practice, but it's essential for their own happiness and the health of the relationship.
So it's not about becoming selfish.
No, not at all.
It's about creating a sustainable way of giving.
Exactly. It's about saying no sometimes.
Which can be really hard for a 2.
It can be, but it's so important.
I know, it's like that saying you can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
So how do they start? How do they learn to set those boundaries?
Well, one thing that can be helpful is to start small.
Small.
Yeah, like saying no to small requests,
Yeah, like what?
Like if someone asks them to run an errand or cover their shift at work.
Right, those little things.
Exactly, and gradually build up to saying no to bigger things.
So it's like building a muscle.
It is. It's about building that no muscle.
I like that analogy.
Another important piece is to shift their focus from external validation to internal fulfillment.
Okay, what does that mean?
It means instead of seeking approval from others, they start asking themselves, what brings me joy?
What lights me up?
Exactly.
I love that.
It's about finding activities that nourish their soul.
And prioritizing those?
Yes, because the more they prioritize their own happiness.
The more they have to give authentically.
Exactly.
So it's a win-win.
It is. It really is.
Now, I'm curious about how type 2s interact with the other types in relationships.
Oh, that's a whole other rabbit hole we could go down.
Maybe another deep dive.
Right. But yeah, it's fascinating how these different energies interact.
Are there any combinations that are particularly challenging?
Well, one pairing that can be tricky is a 2 with a 5.
The investigator?
Yeah, because 2s crave connection.
Right. They're all about emotional expression.
Exactly. And 5s value their space and independence.
So it's like a clash of needs.
It can be. The 2 might feel neglected and the 5 might feel suffocated.
So how do they make it work?
It takes a lot of understanding and compromise.
What does that look like?
Well, the 2 might need to learn to give the 5 their space.
Right. Respect their boundaries.
Exactly. And the 5 might need to make an effort to be more emotionally present.
To meet the 2's needs.
Exactly. It's about finding a middle ground.
Makes sense. Are there any other combinations that stand out?
Well, a 2 with an 8 can be a pretty intense pairing.
The challenger. Oh, boy.
Yeah, you've got 2 strong-willed personalities.
A fire and fire.
Exactly. And they can butt heads pretty hard.
How so?
Well, the 2 might try to control the situation through emotional manipulation.
Oh, I can see that.
And the 8 might respond with force and dominance.
So it's a power struggle.
It can be, for sure.
Not for the faint of heart.
Definitely not.
Okay, so we've got the challenging pairings. What about the more harmonious ones?
Well, twos often find a lot of peace and understanding with nines.
The peacemaker.
Yeah, they're both compassionate and empathetic.
They value harmony.
Exactly, so they can create a really supportive and loving environment for each other.
Sounds like a good match.
It can be, for sure.
What about two with two?
Two twos. That's interesting.
Able the giving.
Right. It can be a beautiful thing,
How so?
They can create this amazing cycle of mutual support and care.
But I imagine there are also challenges.
Oh, absolutely. They can fall into codependency pretty easily.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's important for them to remember to take care of themselves as individuals.
So it's not just about giving to each other.
No, it's about finding that balance between giving and receiving.
So it sounds like self-care is a major theme for twos.
It is. It's absolutely crucial for their well-being.
This is all so fascinating.
It is, isn't it? There's so much to learn about each type and how they interact.
I feel like I'm seeing relationships in a whole new light.
I know what you mean.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the healthy side of the two, but what about the not so healthy side?
Yeah, let's talk about that. So, have you ever met a two who just rubs you the wrong way?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like their neediness can be a bit much sometimes.
Right. It's like they're trying too hard.
Yeah, and it can feel kind of manipulative.
Exactly. And that's when we start to see the unhealthy side of the two.
So what does that look like?
Well, unhealthy twos can become really possessive and controlling.
Yikes.
Yeah, their fear of rejection goes into overdrive.
I see.
They might result to guilt trips or passive-aggressive behavior.
It's like they're trying to trap you in their web of giving.
It can feel that way, for sure.
So it sounds like the key is for twos to find a healthy balance.
Exactly. They need to learn to give from a place of love and abundance, not from a place of fear and neediness.
Right. It's about recognizing their own worth.
Exactly.
So it's not all doom and gloom for twos.
No, not at all.
There's a path to growth and health.
Absolutely. And the Enneagram can be a really helpful tool on that journey.
It's about understanding those deeper motivations.
Right, and using that knowledge to make more conscious choices.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation.
Me too. I always learn something new when we talk about the Enneagram.
And I'm sure our listeners are feeling the same way.
I hope so.
So if you're ready to dive deeper into the world of the Enneagram, Personality NFT has some fantastic resources.
Oh, yeah. Definitely check them out.
They have in-depth descriptions of each type, articles on relationships and personal growth.
And quizzes to help you find your type.
Plus, they have an AI agent that can answer all your Enneagram questions.
It's like having a personal Enneagram coach.
So cool.
So yeah, keep exploring and keep learning.
The Enneagram is a journey, not a destination.
Well said.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of the Enneagram Type 2.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll be back soon with another fascinating exploration of personality and all the things that make us human.
Until then, take care of yourselves and each other.
And remember, self-care is not selfish, it's essential.
Absolutely.